Ladies and gentlemen, we are doing an XDefiant game settings video today. I'm just gonna hop right into it. Gameplay and UI. Mouse and keyboard or controller, doesn't matter, whatever you have. Preferably, I would have you use mouse and keyboard. You can be more accurate with that. Field of view, it's entirely subjective. The lower you go, the bigger the targets in front of you are gonna be, because you can have a more narrow view, but you have less peripheral vision. I cannot say that word, you know, your left and your right. Vice versa, the higher the field of view, the more you can see around you, but the targets in front of you are smaller because obviously it's kind of, you know, widening the screen. ADS field of view, just keep it consistent. It's literally when you aim down your sight, it'll stay with what you have as a field of view. If you want to, you know, make it independent, so it'll go to the default 100 field of view, that's fine. But I don't see why you would want that. ADS behavior, hold versus toggle. Hold is just better. I mean, it's really just preference again. Really doesn't change much. I don't know why you would toggle though. That just feels like it would be weird. ADS sensitivity transition. I go with instant and applies your ADS sensitivity immediately when you are, you know, aiming in. Whereas you can kind of blend it or after you actually ADS. I would just go with instant. It's, again, up to preference, really. These are such minute details that really are just up to what you want and how you play. Melee during ADS, preferably I would turn this on. I don't know why I didn't have it on in the first place. It's just so while you're aiming, you can melee just in case someone comes up on you. You know, this really just adds another tool. Sometimes maybe you'll hit melee on accident and it'll cut you out of your aiming down sights, but I really just get good, dude. Just don't suck, I guess. Don't fat finger things, bozo. Aiming interrupts reload. Again, this is just preference. Preferably I have it on because it just kind of unlocks ways for you to, you know, do things. If you're reloading and someone comes up on you, that's another way to cancel your reload. You can also melee and run or whatever to do it, but it's just another tool basically. I would learn the game having it on. Crouch behavior, I always have it on toggle. Hold just feels weird, but it's up to you again. Sprint behavior, I like tap, even though I'm on mouse and keyboard and I can hold the shift key reliably. It's just nice to have, you know. Auto sprint, again, it's just preference. I wouldn't have this because it's when you start moving forward, you sprint, but you know, that's just me. I guess there's a threshold for it. I would just keep it off, to be honest, now that I think about it. Sprint interrupt reload, I would have this on. Also, I can't speak English again. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Actually, it's 2. Look at that. Slide behavior, I would keep it on tap. Hold just feels weird. Again, it's up to preference though. Auto reload, it's really just preference. When your weapon's empty, it'll try to reload. Auto switch weapon. Auto switch weapon when you're out of ammo, that's again preference. I would have it on since obviously if you're out of ammo and you want to switch to a primary, a secondary, it'll just make it go faster. Auto grab ledge. I have this off because I don't want it to screw me up when I don't want to grab the ledge, right? Toggle walk behavior, I would keep it on hold. I don't see why you would want to toggle being able to walk or not. That seems very strange. Scoreboard behavior, I would keep on hold. You don't want to accidentally have it up and then like it'll take you a second to click it again. You know, you just kind of hold it for a second, it pops up, you see what your score is or whatever are you trying to look at. It's really just preference, you know. A lot of these are just preference. Personally, I would keep a lot of these on like hold or toggle, you know, depending on what I just said. I'm really good at this, aren't I? Adjust HUD limits, whatever your monitor is, I guess. Damage numbers, I like this on just because I like seeing the damage numbers. Minimap rotation, I keep this on off. It might be better to keep it on, I'm not sure. Enemy health bars, I would keep them on. You know, being able to see their HP is nice. Distance units, I'm gonna go with yards because meters is cringe. I mean, I'm an American, so you know, what the hell is a meter? Wait, do we even do that? Who cares, man? It's entirely up to preference again. You're gonna hear that a decent amount for these UI and gameplay things. FPS display, if you really care about that, I would keep it on. I don't. You know, my FPS is fine. This computer is a very expensive computer, so I'm not too worried about the FPS. Although, especially if you're gonna troubleshoot a lot of these settings to find out what gives you the most FPS, definitely have that on, you know, to actually see. Team composition overlay, I would just keep it on. I didn't actually go this far down in the UI thing because a lot of it's whatever. Mouse and keyboard. Mouse sensitivity, again, this is entirely up to preference. The higher you go, the better, you know, you'll able to react, I guess, and stuff. Obviously, there's a higher skill gap to it, but there's also a higher skill ceiling with the higher sensitivity. But I like the just default settings right now. It's fine. Same thing with the ADS sensitivity multiplier and the, you know, the high zoom too. Low zoom, high zoom. Low zoom is red dot sights and stuff, iron sights. High zoom is scopes, basically. Anything that's 8 times or higher, so like snipers and stuff. I keep them on default. It's fine. It's entirely up to preference whether or not, you know, this is when you're aiming down, and the sensitivity, it's different from other games, but you know, I would definitely just go into the training zone and try them out. If you don't like the default, I like the default. Mouse acceleration, I'm gonna turn this on. The faster you move your mouse, the faster it will move. So basically it'll track your movements better. So I'm gonna do that. Invert controls, I don't know why you would do that. Right click back, this is entirely up to preference. This is literally just exiting out of menu screens using the right click. Oh my God, my English is terrible right now. Lock mouse in game window, absolutely do that. You don't wanna go to your other monitor on accident. I actually had that happen to me a few times. And, you know, just a suggestion for melee, if you have mouse buttons, I would, you know, put that on one, and same thing with the crouch, just so you have easier access to it. Controller settings, to be honest, I think the default settings are completely fine. You can turn off aim assist if you want, but if you're versing mouse and keyboard players, you're already at a disadvantage using a controller, so you might as well use the aim assist, even if it is mid. It's not like, you know, release Halo Infinite aim assist. At least you can obviously just customize this stuff. Honestly, the default sensitivity and everything is fine. If you have a dead zone on your stick, you know, not a dead zone, but if your stick drifts left or right from it being too old or overused or anything, just make sure to fiddle around with these settings to kind of make sure that doesn't happen in game. But yeah, the only thing I would change is taking off vibration, just out of preference, because that little vibration can kind of throw you off sometimes when there's like explosions and shit happening, and you know, you want to be as accurate as possible. But yeah, definitely fiddle around with the sensitivity if the game doesn't feel quite right for you. Audio and voice chat, I mean, if you want, turning off music is fine. Obviously it's gonna help you more than hurt you because you can hear more. There's less distractions. I keep it on, but right now it's off just for this, you know, video. Maybe turn down stuff like the UI volume so you can hear dialogue and sound effects more, so you can actually hear people more. Voice chats, whatever. You don't need these settings. Like, it's whatever. Display mode, whichever one you want, really. Full screen, I do. Do the highest refresh rate you can possibly do with your monitor. Refresh rate is fantastic. If you've ever played, like, if you've only played on 60 refresh rate, you are in for the best time ever if you're able to increase that. My God, what a life changer. Triple buffering, if you can, turn it off. It improves frame rate stability, but you know, it'll add some input delay, somewhat, a very small amount. I really do not need the extra FPS, so I'm gonna turn that off. You know, I want my inputs to be as quick as possible. Reduce latency, again, if you're having latency issues, it'll, you know, help you reduce that, but it'll lower your frame rate a little bit. Though, again, if you have a high-end PC, turn it on. Why not? You know, fiddle around with it. If you have an NVIDIA thing, I forget what it's called. You can turn this on. It reduces the latency and increases PC responsiveness. I'm literally just reading it. I'm gonna turn on the boost. It's gonna, you know, take more GPU power, but again, high-end PC should be fine. Basically just makes the game run faster and reduces latency. Brightness, the higher, you know, the higher you have it, the less shadows you'll see, or more so you're able to see in darker areas. I haven't had an issue with dark areas though in this game yet, so I'm just gonna keep the brightness on default. Again, contrast too. Whatever, it's your preference. It's fine at default. If you're able to use the DX12 renderer, I would suggest it. I don't know why this was turned off when I started it. Basically, it just, like, if your computer can handle it, it just makes the game run better in like every way, shape, and form. There's multiple modes here, but I can't fiddle with them until I restart the game. I don't know why it like reset my settings. It's very strange. Graphics, I have it set to custom because I guess it did the default, which is my NVIDIA like GeForce thing doing the custom settings. I don't know why. But if you're having issues with frame rate or whatever, frickin' just lower shadows, all different kinds of shadows. It'll make the game look a little worse, but you know, it'll increase your frame rate. Particles are another thing you could lower to really help FPS out. Same thing with the fog. You really just don't even need to care about fog, right? And it'll definitely increase your FPS if you lower it. To be honest, all of these settings, again, if you're having issues with FPS, lower them. It's not rocket science. Stuff of note, though, would be object detail, fog, particle detail, and like every kind of shadow, especially contact shadows. Extra streaming distance, too, since that uses some memory. Lens flare, honestly, you could just turn off just to help you, because lens flares kind of suck. But I keep it on because I like the authentic experience. Same thing with water quality, like who gives a shit about water quality, right? Chromatic aberration, I forget what this even is. Just turn it off if you don't, I forget what this is. Same thing with terrain quality. Just turn it off. Or not off, but low. If you're having issues with FPS, just try all of it. Chat and language filter, make sure to turn that off. You're playing a shooter. You really shouldn't care about curse words. That's kind of cringe. And I mean, these things don't matter. Like pick your language and stuff. I mean, like, I know, crossplay. So if you're playing on mouse and keyboard, definitely turn on crossplay. You want to verse those controller users, baby. But yeah, if you want to verse other people from different consoles, platforms, PC, you know, if you're on Xbox, PlayStation, whatever, turn on crossplay. If you're playing on a console and you're not playing with friends who are on a different console, I would suggest turning off crossplay just so you don't have to deal with keyboard and mouse abusers. You'll probably be less likely to find cheaters too, because obviously it's way easier to cheat on a PC than it is on an Xbox. Input-based matchmaking. This also stops people from using mouse and keyboard if you're using controller, or vice versa. I don't know why you would turn this on if you're using a keyboard and mouse, because you want to verse the people with controllers because you just have a distinct advantage over them. Not to talk controllers, by the way. I love controllers, but mouse and keyboard, it's just you just aim better. It's a shooter. You have more control over, you know, where you're going. But yeah, crossplay must be enabled for this anyway, but if you are going to play on crossplay and only want to verse controller people, just turn this on when you're using a controller, or vice versa. I don't know why you would do that, but whatever. And that's it. Like and subscribe, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you want to see XDefiant gameplay videos and more guides or whatever. And if you like League of Legends videos, I got like 60 for Arena. So go check those out, please. I'm begging you. I'm about to hit 1,000 subs, so that would be awesome if you subscribed. All right, I gotta go to bed.